Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits and everything, and then some and more. Hopefully it's all been wonderful. It has been a crazy weekend for all of us, I'm sure. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend, got a lot of things taken care of, knocked out things that were on your to-do list, or just did nothing at all. Hopefully that was the case for a lot of you guys, because that's kind of nice. Being able to just not do anything is kind of nice, okay? But those are just like that one romantic love song you just haven't heard in a really long time. You know what I mean? It's like, whoo, that thing. Whoo, I miss it. But anyway, hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic out there. So please do me a favor, because we're going to get straight into this stuff. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I got specks of stuff in my nose. It's fantastic. That sounds weird, but not like that. Okay. But anyway, hopefully you guys all doing well out there. Please hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Please and thank you. Please do that for me. Okay. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, please make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. Of course, subscribe here on my main channel, here on the YouTubes. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Crush that subscribe button over there. Hit that notification bell for both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because a lot of times it's breaking news or random. It just is how it is out here in these streets right now, okay? So please do me that favor. Hit that notification bell on both channels, all right? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, more importantly than anything in the world, check out pascalmerch.com. I don't know if you guys saw the hoodies, the jogger set that I was wearing on last Thursday's show. It was a really nice one. It was very, very comfortable. So please go check it out. We got some really, really great stuff. Like I said, it's not just T-shirts with funny little sayings from the show or funny little things to add to the, merch. It's clothing too. Okay. So go check out pascalmerch.com, especially, if you want to stock up for the fall and winter time. Definitely go check out those things over there, because we got some really great stuff over there. Okay. All right, guys. What did I miss? No, I'm kidding. There was a lot that happened on Friday. There was the cross, which is most important. Okay, cross-examination happened with Mia. There's still, they were doing this morning, Mia's cross-examination by the defense. And let me tell you something. This was a very interesting cross from Friday bleeding into today. And the thing is what I believe the defense is trying to do. The defense is trying to create, they're trying to poke holes in Mia's whole story. They're trying to make it seem like, no, there was nothing but love here. She was just a disgruntled employee and all that. It's very interesting, because even on Friday's cross, how they started everything was, let's go and check out your Instagram, right? And let me tell you something. The Instagram, come on. Really? They're literally going to use their cross, at least in the very beginning of their cross. We don't know yet. We're going to go into that here shortly, what they talked about this morning. And then, of course, we're going to be live streaming, checking out all the live updates, okay, throughout this today's day in court. But what's interesting is that on Friday, they really tried to spin it. Okay, they really tried to make it seem like, because of what she's posting online, they just loved each other, right? Everything was good. They got along. She's making all this stuff. She's making it hella dramatic than what it really was. And yeah, Nate just put out there. Let's not forget, because I know Nate is a team Diddy, free Diddy. Okay, let's not forget this. She did file a $10 million lawsuit against Diddy. Now, what she claims it was because of the overtime and the lack of pay that she received as working for Diddy for so many years. $10 million is a whole lot of quiche. But apparently that got settled down to $400,000, which apparently only half of that is what she ended up getting. Okay. Which is also very interesting, right? Only half of it is what she ended up receiving, because the other half went to lawyer fees and all that stuff. Okay. Now, again, it's a very interesting situation, very interesting stuff that's been going on. And of course, I get it. The defense is there to specifically do what? Poke holes, okay? Poke holes in this whole situation. Poke holes in everything that the prosecution is bringing out. So my question to you guys is she doing, or are they doing a good job in poking holes in what the prosecution has presented thus far? Now, when we look at something like Mia's testimony, there's a lot of questions I do have. I'm going to be real. I do have a lot of questions about it, because instantly it's safe to sit here and look at it and go, wait a second. Well, maybe she's really a disgruntled employee. Maybe the SAs that she claims to have endured at the hands of the diddler may not be real. She's just making those things up or adding those things to her narrative solely so she can get some semblance of revenge on Diddy. I know a lot of people are sitting there thinking the same thing. Okay. A lot of people are going, wait a second. Is she creating all of this stuff to try to get some sort of revenge? She just wants to stack on top of everything, pile on top of Diddy, because everybody else is too, right? And let's be real. She saw some things that truly did happen, right? She saw some things that truly did happen between Cassie and Diddy. Now, just because he put his hand, we got to talk about two different things. Just because Diddy put his hands on Cassie doesn't mean that he would put his hands on anybody else, but it could mean that he would. Because if he's willing to throw off of his back two different people that hopped on his back during a fight that he had with Cassie, if he's willing to slam somebody up against a wall and all that, if he's willing to do that, then I'm sure he's willing to do that later on in life, or to other people, other employees that he does have. So for me, I look at it and go, well, we got to take what Mia is saying with a grain of salt. And also, you have to take it seriously, what she's claiming to have happened to her at the hands of Diddy, working alongside or underneath Diddy. You can't ignore that. We could sit here all day long and go, oh, yeah, she's making me, side eye her and everything. Well, we need to keep looking then. We need to keep looking into that and see what's really going on, because she could very well be telling 110% the truth. Let's not forget that. But then again, she could literally be a disgruntled employee or a disgruntled fired employee that feels like she was used up and thrown to the side. She did not get the things that she wanted, that she felt that she rightfully deserved. She did not get credit where credit was due when it came to producing shows, TV, movies, etc., underneath the Revolt Films production company. In fact, she even said that as she finally went up to Diddy and finally mustered up enough courage to say to him, hey, I would like a raise because I deserve it. Because let's not forget, she started working for Diddy for what, $55,000 a year, working nonstop, barely sleeping, etc. Right? Okay. So her going up to Diddy, asking for a raise, and what does he do? He goes, I don't really feel like producing movies anymore, so we're shutting that whole department down. Her completely out of a job. So I could see her going, okay, now you crush my dreams just because I stepped forward and started to speak out. Stepped forward and finally said, hey, I think I deserve a raise because I deserve a raise. I've been working here for well over a decade now, and you've been treating me like absolute trash. I deserve some money. I deserve some compensation for my hard work and for all the secrets that I've been holding on to and not exposing. Because let's not forget, guys, let's not forget. She witnessed things that were crimes. Her seeing Diddy put his hands on Cassie in criminal ways, all right, most definitely is breaking the law. Most definitely breaks the NDA. Any type of non-disclosure agreement thing that they signed, she didn't have to abide by that NDA. She didn't have to, be respectful or anything of that sort. Respect the NDA. The NDA is null and void as soon as you see a crime done by the person the NDA is about. So she's holding on to all that information. And she's literally going to Diddy and saying, hey, I deserve a raise. I've been here for however many years long. I'm only making X amount of dollars per year. I'm still working my butt off. I'm dealing with a lot of trauma. You have created a lot of anxiety in my body, so on and so forth, right? And then what? He goes, I'm going to shut it all down. So I could see someone going, how dare you destroy my life? I've worked and I've put all my chips on Diddy. Put my whole bet on Diddy, saying, okay, I'm going to work with him. I'm going to work my way up. And maybe one day I'll be able to walk away to another gig, to a better job, to make more money. Only for everything to go crumbling down. So again, I could see how somebody could look at this and go, nah, she's just angry. She's just jealous because of the things that did not happen, right? And oh yeah, Chet, thank you so much for that reminder. She did say, and we're going to talk about that in a second, about staying alive, right? Trying to survive. So let's talk about that really quick. In Friday's Cross, Brian Steele was pretty, going crazy, pretty intense. He ripped the Band-Aid off and he said, you know what? In fact, let's take a look at your IG. Let's take a look at all your Instagram photos and videos that you have of Diddy. Certain things like, thank you so much for birthing my career. Thank you so much for creating, opportunities for me. Love you. There was another thing. They talked about she put together like some sort of scrapbook. And at the end of it said, love you forever and ever and ever. Right. And she said, well, that's psychological that I was stuck in a place where I was just in survival mode. I was just trying to stay alive. But I didn't realize I was in that situation until I got out of the situation. Kind of a Stockholm syndrome me type of thing there too. Now, here's the thing. You look at a situation, you look at a case, you look at her, what we've heard so far, there's definitely holes. There's definitely holes. And I feel like this is something that can still be a conversation. There's still going to be a deliberation. Well, there still will be a conversation in the deliberation room when the jury gets in there. But let me ask you this too. Does it even matter at this point? Do you think or do you believe that, and this is why I say do you, everybody, fam, do you believe that the prosecution has presented their argument well enough for them to kind of go, what Mia said is what Mia said. Jury won't really lean on that too hard. I think it's a weird thing. I feel like it's a hot and cold situation. There's a lot of gray in this situation. Let me explain. Mia did speak on certain things that she experienced, that she saw working for Diddy. And there definitely was a lot of things as far as forced labor. I mean, that's definitely number one on the list of as far as the racketeering RICO charges that they're trying to slap on Diddy. That goes without question about what they're trying to go with. Let's not forget the arson stuff, but that's a whole other conversation in itself as well, right? But one thing is for sure, she does speak at least upon the forced labor side of what the prosecution is presenting. All the other stuff of like her being attacked and her being SA'd and all that stuff, let's be real. He's not on trial for SA, as far as we know. He's not on trial for SA of Mia. So yes, it adds more to how diabolical and terrible he is, right? But it does not add to the prosecution's argument. That's one thing for sure. But like I said, it's very gray, because you do have somebody that I can see, and we got to look at both sides of the fence here. And I know it's probably going to get some people angry about this whole situation as well, but it is what it is, because everybody's I know a lot of people, a lot of y'all have already had your verdict already cashed in. Okay. You already put in your vote, right? Either he's guilty or he's not. I'll leave that to you guys. But one thing is for sure, I feel like there's a lot of people out here that worked for him that even while they're on the stand, look at the two other assistants, not the females. Even so, we could talk about them too here in a second, but let's just talk about the two guys. Oh, I can't believe I experienced that. I saw what I saw. There were certain crimes that I was a part of. Ooh, let me get this immunity clause put in here so I can testify. Oh, but then on a dime they spin and say he's a god amongst men, that it was the most amazing experience I ever had. Working for him was one of the highlights of my career, right? Let's talk about the ladies. He's an absolute monster. He did X, Y, and Z to me. He did X, Y, and Z to other people that I saw. But then on a dime, it'll be like, well, we see these text messages where you're literally buttering him up, saying how much you love him, reaching out to him again, saying, hey, can you get over being mad at me? Capricorn Clark, can you get over getting mad at me? I did what I did, but can you just get over it so we can move the F on? By the way, I need a new job. Mia, he's an absolute monster. I hate him. 17,000 hours of not sleeping, right? Oh, he did this. He SA'd me. He did all this stuff. And then on a dime, you go to her Instagram, her posts being like, love this man. He's incredible, so on and so forth. Now, here's the thing. I could see something where there's a lot of gray, which is going to confuse the jury. That's just what I truly believe. It's going to confuse the jury. Why? Because at first they're going, oh my God, oh my God. You know, it's a lot of the whole time, right? But then, like I said, suddenly you see, wait, there's love you, man. Love you, Diddy. Hey, P, hey, Puff, my man, right? My everything. Thank you so much for X, Y, and Z, right? Here's the thing. I think it's two different things. One, they could very well be, like Mia, for example, could very well be telling the truth. She could very well be saying, yep, this is exactly what I experienced. It was terrible. He's a monster. But on the surface, Instagram is not, well, you know, depending on the person, right? Instagram is not really the place where you post your trials and tribulations. Unless it's like, you know, you are fighting cancer or overcoming something, or you're talking about addiction out loud so you can bring in an audience, you know, of peers that are going through addiction as well, you know, finding that support group online. But not every day do you have an Instagram filled with you standing right next to one of the biggest moguls of our generation. Just in case you didn't know, the diddler. So do you really think that you're going to post things online about all the bad times when you are currently his employee, when you're posting those things, right? Most of the time, you're going to be like, it's all for look. Remember, Instagram and, all these social media posts, platforms, a lot of times we're not showing our worst times. We're showing our best times. So again, someone who's up there posting all these things, love him from the moon and back, thank you so much for birthing my career. Stuff like that, right? Do you really think she's going to go up there and go, he's an absolute monster? Do you really think she will? Especially when she knows how powerful and how dangerous the man is. I could see that argument. I can understand that sentiment. Okay, I'm going to show you all the best parts. But he's actually behind closed doors and a monster. We see these things countless times, guys. Think about it. Hold on, because some people are like, yeah, no, she lying, she cap, she a liar. Hold up. How about some of y'all that are out there on the Instagrams and on the social medias, and you're loving up on your man, loving up on your woman, and they're an absolute monster behind closed doors. Sorry, gotta say it. Sometimes you're sitting there going, oh my God, I love my man Kev, he the bomb. And then 2 seconds later, 2 seconds after that photo was taken, that dude's putting his paws on you. But you posted that photo showing and highlighting the best parts of your life, right? So then when we look at somebody like Mia, I go, wait a second. A lot of people do this. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Everybody does it. How about this? Okay, let's water it down even more. Let's just water it down even more. How about this? Say you meet the celebrity that you've always wanted to meet. You're randomly at an event, and say you get a chance to pay a certain amount of dollars to take a photo with a specific celebrity. They do this all the time right now, right? You take the photo with the guy. You post it. Some people like to cap right off the bat. Yeah, man, got to chop it up with my boy, my man, my new best friend. Let's say Chris Brown. Let's just say that, okay? And I'm just using Chris Brown really quick because he's a big name, okay? Got to meet him. It was dope, man. Got to chop it up. We talked about business and all that. And in actuality, he was an absolute butthole. And then also on top of that, you didn't even talk to him. There was no words. There was no conversation. In fact, you walked in. He was like, yeah, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go. And it was a photo taken right there in time. You guys look like y'all are chummy. Looking like you guys are having a real conversation. But in actuality, you're not talking to each other at all. Come on, man. And he was an absolute butthole. Absolute butthole, you see? So, what is Instagram? What are these social media accounts all about? Showing the best version of yourself as best as you can. Real talk. Unless you're sitting across from them doing an interview with them, like you're on camera doing a back and forth with Chris Brown, and he's sitting there talking and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yo, okay. And then the photo, you're dapping up with him being like, yo, gotta chop it up with one of the greatest, C Breezy, for example, right? No one really knows except for the photo. That's it. He said, I'm going to be a star. Man, you can say whatever the hell you want underneath that cap for a caption. Underneath that photo post, you can put up anything you want. We could talk about oatmeal and how we love eating it for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? You can say whatever the you want. So then you look back, hey, Mario, you look back at Amia and you see what she's been posting. Do you really think she's going to be like, I'm in hell right now. Help me. Diddy's a monster. No, you're not. You could be like, I'm one of the biggest stars on the planet because it's good for clout, it's good for the image, and for a fact, if she really is terrified, which I totally understand because what she experienced, what she saw Diddy do to Cassie, I'd be terrified too. For a fact, she's gonna say whatever she can to stay on his good side. And especially she's gonna try to be on his good side even more than ever if she really endured what she says she endured by the diddler. Think about it for a second, my fam. Think about it. Before everybody goes, hey, all this cap, all this is BS, she's lying. Just take that situation and just look at it in a different light. Put yourself in that same situation. Trust me. I know for a fact that we all have a photos that we posted online where it's like, it was the worst night ever, but you still look amazing. Girls, you know what I mean? Yes, girl. Okay. Face beat to the gods. And you're taking a photo with your martini. It was the worst night in your life. Worst night ever. But you still take a photo and post it, acting like you had the night of your life when it was probably boring as hell. You probably were sitting at that bar drinking that martini all by your doggone self. But still you look good. So they take the photo, they put it up, they're like, it was the night of my life. And the photo's like they're looking like they're a super celebrity. Right? For a fact, some of you ladies do that. It's okay. Guys do that stuff all the time. How about the cars that they sit right in front of? With the iced out jewelry and everything, where for a fact all that's cubic zirconium, and that mother-loving car is rented, okay? But they out there by the beach, and they didn't even fly first class. They took a Greyhound bus to the doggone beach. So, come on now. Everyone's like, oh, she can't. Don't all of us do it? Don't we all do it? Take a photo with your boss who happens to run everything, and it's a big, they're a big name or something like that. But in real life, they're a but you got to take that photo because it looks good. You're trying to climb the ranks, right? You're trying to climb that corporate ladder. He's an absolute butthole. He only wants green M&Ms, and he wants like lattes, but they're like half non-dairy, half whatever, caffeinated, not caffeinated. Okay, and he wants a spear of a native from some I don't know. You know what I mean? It's something ridiculous, right? But then you take that photo with him. Finally, got to chop it up with the boss. He's the bomb. Learn some new things. Thanks, boss. It's all part of the game. So when I look at that, sure, it's going to definitely confuse a lot of people. Okay? It's going to definitely confuse a lot of people, especially mainly the jury. And I already know the people who are Team Diddy, they're going to instantly go, oh, she capped. See, that was a win. That was a win for the defense. Let's go, Diddy. Right? But in actuality, are we sure about that? That's what I mean. There is a sea of gray, okay? There is a sea of gray. So that information, like I said, I'm like, why? Defense, why are you bringing up Instagram photos? Who gives a fuck? Who cares? It does not show anything about her being maniacal or actually being a victim. Has nothing to do with anything. It is somebody who is posting things just like anybody else on the IG. Her IG is just hit different because she is standing next to the man, the mogul, the diddler. So again, I would just say we might want to pump the brakes on the cap. And I think we take what she said with a grain of salt. This is exactly what I said about Capricorn Clark as well. Capricorn Clark, at first, oh my God, what the hell? He's an absolute monster. How dare he do all these things that Capricorn Clark went through? And if those things and those allegations are to be true, then we know for a fact that is also forced labor, basically slavery. But then defense came up, asked a bunch of questions. But you sent him an email saying that you love him. Didn't you meet up with him for a meeting? Because he was trying to tamper with witnesses. And by the way, that's just Capricorn Clark we're talking about. Even D-Rock reached out to Mia, basically saying, hey, talking about the things that she experienced working for Diddy. Why? Because he knew that she was going to be taking the stand at some point. So he tried to reach out. Hence the reason why he didn't get bail, guys. This is exactly the reason why he didn't get bail. Then he still tried to reach out to her after D-Rock failed to get in contact with Mia. Failed because she didn't want any part of it. What did Diddy do? Hey, what's up, man? What's up? What's up, Mia? Mia. I just want to talk it up real quick. If you got 10 minutes, just want to talk with you really quick. I need to jog my memory on some things. What memory he need to get jogged? No, it's called if there happens to be a package with $50 million in it at your front door. In fact, no, that's a little expensive. How about if I just give you the $10 million that you wanted in the first damn place? And it just happens, this $10 million just happens to show up at your front door. You pick it up. All I'm asking is that you just ignore the feds. Don't answer any questions for them. Don't even show up. Just go incognito on the feds. Just go MIA. Get it, Mia? For me. How about that? And I'll give you the 10 mil you wanted. In fact, I'll sweeten the deal. I'll give you 15 mil. How about that? That's exactly what he was trying to do. That's exactly what he was trying to do with Capricorn Clark. And that's exactly what he did to damn Gina. Am I right or am I right? I'm just saying. Now, real quick, before we get into this, Bella Stella diggity damn. Thank you so much. 10 new memberships. Welcome to the family, every single last one, y'all. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Bella. All I ask, Bella gave all 10 of you guys, okay, all you 10 new family members, some positive energy. All I ask for you to do is to pay it forward, okay? Open the door for somebody, buy somebody a cup of coffee, call that friend you haven't talked to in a really long time. Just do the right thing. Spread the positive energy out there in the world, okay? And hopefully it continues to trickle up, not down. But you know what I mean? Trickles up, because everybody needs a little bit of positivity these days, okay? Even the diddler. So let's go into this. Just me. Thank you so much for the love. You keep me thinking on both sides of the spectrum, and you're funny as hell. Oh, snap. Thank you so much. Did you ever expect anything otherwise? Baby. Wait. Oh. Come on. Okay. We back. Woo, got scared there. Come on, dagnabbit. I'm back. Hit the number 1. Let me know you guys can hear me, see all that stuff. Okay. Dark skin, so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. She a liar. Next, stop it, sir. Well, I'm going to keep doing me. Okay. I'm going to keep doing me. All right. This is my platform. These are my opinions. If you don't like it, go somewhere else, baby. Okay. Respectfully. All right. But here's the thing. You had to pay for that? For that comment? Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. So we're back. We're back. Okay. We're back. Yeah. I don't know. The stream was bugging. All right. But here it is. Oh, that's rude, Nate. That's rude. Okay. That's rude. Anyway, here it is. Okay. Here it is. We got the first half, all right, that we're going to get into. Okay. So we're going to take a look at that. All right. And the thing is this. She's still in cross, or in the very beginning of this, still in cross. So we're going to go into all of that here. Okay. And if you're not going to be respectful, just go to another platform. Just go. All right. I ain't got time for it today. All right. So I've been nice to a lot of you guys, and I don't care about your opinion. But if you start coming at me, that's not good. I will take you off. I don't care. I will personally do it. Just saying that out loud. All right. We're here for good times and conversations. Fair and open conversations. If you don't like what I have to say, go to another platform. You have been warned. Okay? Okay. I love you guys. Let us get into this conversation, shall we? Let us get into the conversation. So she takes the stand, all right? Because of course, we're starting from the very, very beginning here. All right? The key prosecution witness, Mia, takes the stand this morning for the defense cross-examination. So, of course, they're continuing the cross-examination, and I don't care what she's wearing, do you? So we're going to move on, okay? Defense begins by having Mia go over her qualifications and, quote-unquote, thick skin. So, Brian Steele opened his line of questioning today by having Mia go over her resume, asking whether she remembered telling Combs that she was multitasking, worked well under pressure, and had, quote unquote, thick skin. Mia told Steele she doesn't remember writing that she had thick skin. But by the way, who cares? Who cares if she has thick skin? Real talk. Who cares? Again, to me, a thick skin for being essayed, a thick skin for being pushed beyond her limits, forced labor, etc. What? He later asked if she thought of herself as a leader, which Mia did not quite know how to respond to. She did agree that she speaks up for herself and could multitask under pressure. When asked directly if she had thick skin, Mia said that she thought that she did. And I will say this, I would think that she did think or believe that she does have thick skin. I mean, let's be real. If she really went through what she went through, okay? If she went through what she really went through, hell yeah, you got some thick skin. And that's if she really went through what she went through, right? So hold on. Hold on, guys. Bye. Okay, now we're going back up. Okay. Mia's nightmare, trapped in an elevator with Aura Kelly. Oh my God. I was trapped in the elevator. So the defense introduced a text message from Mia to Diddy in which she told the defendant that he once, in a nightmare, saved her from R. Kelly. Mia said in January 15th of 2019, text message that she had a horrible dream, terrible dream of being trapped in an elevator with the convicted criminal, R. Kelly, but then Diddy came and rescued her. Now, this is something very interesting. See, this is where I could see where people would be like, wait, what? Say what? Why would you text something like that to Diddy? If Diddy is such a monster, see, like I said, we hop on both sides of the fence, baby. Okay. If he was such a monster, if he really is the diddler, right? Why would you go out of your way to text him, I had this crazy dream. You saved me from R. Kelly. Make that make sense. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, does it to you? That's weird. I'm not going out of my way to hit up somebody who SA'd me repeatedly to be like, oh, you saved me from another monster. Right? In fact, even if I had that dream, the exact dream that she messaged him about, I'm still not texting him about that. I'm going to my therapist and going, what the hell just happened? Why am I having dreams about him being, the savior, right? I'm just saying that's weird. Because you're trapped in an elevator, right? Seems weird with aura. So the judge sustained a government objection, thus preventing Mia from answering why her alleged attacker was framed as a savior in her dream. I would ask the same doggone question. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, when defense has a point, I'm gonna point it out. And when the prosecution has a point, I'm gonna point it out. And in this situation, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you send? I'm going to my therapist and going, something's not right. We gonna talk. I had a dream. He's done terrible crimes against me, and now he's my savior in this story, in this dream. What the hell's going on, right? However, the defense still made its point to the jurors, despite the allegations Mia has made against Diddy. There were times when she held him in the highest of esteems. Yes, let's be real. I can see the holes that they're poking. They're definitely poking holes, right? Definitely poking holes. Uh-oh. We talking about Kim Porter? All right. Kim Porter's in the chat again. Here we go. Mia reached out to Diddy because she felt bad about Kim Porter's demise. Okay, that makes sense. I don't see anything weird about this, but let's continue. Yeah. Trapped in the elevator. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's trapped in the closet. You know what I'm saying? Nobody? Come on, y'all. It's R. Kelly, all right? And it's so fitting that I'm drinking a monster, talking about a possible monster. It's crazy. No, they don't sponsor the show, although I wish they would holla. Because, yeah. I wish they would sponsor one day. I'm a man with a dream. Let's go. All right? When questioned about apparently loving text Mia sent to Diddy in late 2018 and throughout 2019, she testified that she felt bad for Diddy after the demise of Kim Porter. Porter, who of course was with Diddy for years and the mother of his 3 children, passed away in November of 2018 from pneumonia. I'm sorry. I gotta do it like this. Pneumonia. Okay, because apparently Albie Shore is like, nah, it's not. It ain't pneumonia. Okay. Diddy's defense showed text following that time in which Mia wrote that she loved Diddy and dreamed of him as her savior months after Porter's demise. Okay. Mia told the court that she didn't think 5 months was a long time to recover from grief and that she hadn't yet understood what happened to her while working for Diddy. So later she reached out to him 5 months later, and I guess this was right around the time that Kim Porter passed away. All right, so she's like, I don't see that being a long time to recover from things, right? But she noted that there was a version of Diddy who cared for her. See, this is where, like I said, this is where things get really in the gray. Because again, in my personal opinion, I am not reaching out to a monster. Let's be real. I get it. Somebody passing away Kim Porter, I'm sure, was a lovely person, I'm sure, in person and in real life. But if somebody's been repeatedly causing crimes against me, right? I am not. I'm just not. Don't worry. I'll say a little prayer for you. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it. And then we moving on. Okay, I'm moving on with my life, but I'm not reaching out to him to reach out and be like, I love you, man. And, RIP and condolences. And, hope you're holding it down. Like, I'm not doing that. Personally, I'm not. Like I said, I send a prayer for you, but that's about it. Send a little prayer. Hold on. Cajun, thank you so much for the love. Why did they have Mia on the stand longer than the star? You know what? That's what I'm trying. That's exactly what I'm trying to understand too. Brian Steele is swaying the jury with their cross. Yes. That's the whole purpose, right? That's the whole goal. Real quick, this super chat is a very good question. Okay. I truly believe. Okay. I truly believe that these are questions that they wanted to ask the other witnesses that they had before, but they didn't have all their things, their ducks in a row. Okay. Until they got Mia and they're like, well, all the questions that we could have asked with Capricorn Clark, we didn't ask. So let's start asking with her. You see what I'm saying? And also they had the weekend. Let's not forget that too. They had a whole weekend to sit down and comb through everything. So now what's happening? They're going, okay, let's ask her all the doggone questions that we could have and should have asked David James, George Kaplan, Capricorn Clark. So I guess they're trying to exercise that with her right now, which is interesting, right? Very, very interesting. But thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. And again, that's true. That's a good question. But they're definitely trying to sway the jury with this testimony right here, which is very interesting. But like I said, I truly believe the Instagram stuff and all that, that's weak sauce in my personal opinion, but that might hit with the jury. That might hit with the jury. And then all this stuff here, going through the text messages, emails, and all that. They're definitely trying to poke holes. Let's continue on. She said, I never recorded Diddy during an outburst. So, despite her near constant contact, with Diddy, while she worked for him, Mia admits she didn't have any video of the music mogul during one of his fits of rage. Mia also conceded that she doesn't have a text message to a friend to know any violent outbursts by Diddy. This is also where holes are being poked right now. The witness testified that she shouldn't have made such documentation because doing so would have broken trust and confidentiality with her employer at the time. So again, very interesting that there's no conversation, no text messages, no voicemails, no recordings whatsoever of any type of things that she's experienced from Diddy, even the SA. See, this is the reason why I can see why people are looking at this and side-eyeing the hell out of this situation. You see what I'm saying? They're going, this is odd. Why would she suddenly come out with all this information now and never say anything about this in the past? But then again, let's not forget, there are plenty of victims out here in the real world, okay, that never spoke about their SA or their R or M, any of the things, like from when they were littles to adults, that they have held that till their dying day. So you have to put that into consideration as well. Now, I understand with this situation, somebody as powerful and as rich as Diddy, sure, there's going to be plenty of people that are going to come up with everything so that they can scoop a bag. But at the same time, we're talking about real life. And there are people that will not talk about things like, you hear these stories about people coming out to saying that they were, M'd by their uncle when they're in their 60s, for crying out loud, right? And it's like, wait a second, how did that, oh my Lord, why didn't you say anything? I was too scared to say anything. I had no one I could talk to, so on and so forth, right? We hear it a lot, guys. It does exist, all right? So we still got to keep that in our back pocket, okay? Hold on. Let's continue on, though. Defense tries to undermine SA allegations. See? Okay. Mia says she was brainwashed, which is interesting. Brainwashed with what? So Brian Steele, he pushes back at Mia about her testimony last week, okay, during which she said she was SA'd by Diddy, asking her point blank whether the SA testimony was true. He had the balls to say it, y'all. And now they're trying to say she's committing perjury now, guys. So again, I would not lie in this courtroom, Mia said. I never lied in this courtroom. Everything I have said is true. Brian Steele had shown the court multiple messages from Mia to Diddy for a span of 12 years. Oh, sorry. For a span of 2 years. I'm sorry. I thought I said 2008. For a span of 2 years, full-on text messages for 2 years after she stopped working for Diddy, in which she expressed love and good memories. In one message from August of 2020, she wrote that the only things to remember were the good times. Eesh. Mia told the court that Diddy had brainwashed her. She testified that the environment she was in was filled with high highs and low lows. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense if you got somebody who's bipolar. That would make sense. Undiagnosed or unmedicated bipolar individual, that's possible. Mia testified that she was always seeking Diddy's approval. Now, again, an argument that could be presented here. Some people could look at this and go, wait a second. She wants to continue her job. He is a man who is very connected to very wealthy and successful individuals. So yeah, I could see someone like this still sucking up to a powerful person like Diddy. Why? Because they want their job, or they want to stay close to the monies, right? I can see that. Or she's straight up lying, right? Or she is straight up just making these things up, and Brian Steele is coming out and exposing days. Both possible, very possible, both situations. Let's move on and let me know. What do you think? You think she's full of BS, or you think she's really, really a victim here? So she says she was terrified and brainwashed, making her hesitant to come forward. So the witness said she was terrified and brainwashed, preventing her from coming forward earlier with allegations of SA against Diddy. When defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia if she had a moral obligation to report Diddy immediately, she said she didn't because, quote unquote, I was terrified and brainwashed. It was only when others came forward publicly that Mia said she elected to do so too. It's been a long process, she said, continuing on. She said, I'm still untangling these things. I'm in therapy. Now, here's the thing. Remember, Cassie really is the first and only person so far. Well, not the first and only. She is the first person to step forward and rip the Band-Aid off. Actually, she put dynamite into the crack of a dam, of like the Hoover Dam, and then just sets it on fire, right? And then all of a sudden, now we've had a tidal wave of people basically saying, I'm a victim too, and so on and so forth, right? But you got to remember, within this flood and this tidal wave of allegations and accusations going towards Diddy and all these lawsuits that are going through to Diddy, you can't tell me that all of them are fake. You can't tell me that all of them are fabricated. Yes, there's going to be a lot of people fabricating things so that they can make some money. But at the same time, there's people out there that are actually victims of Diddy. I truly believe that. I truly do. And I think that it was only because Cassie stepped forward and was brave enough to do what she did, of course, and was quickly successful at her with her bravery, that other people like Mia were able to step forward. But again, you got to take these allegations with a grain of salt and hope that these are being properly vetted. Police are doing their due diligence, looking into these things. Because let's be real, I would hate for Diddy to be accused of things that he didn't do. Let's be real, that's not right. I don't care how much of a monster he is. He should not be, he should not be quartered in the town square for things that he is not guilty of doing. You see what I'm saying? So you hope that these allegations come out to be true, right? But you're going to see some that are lies. Mia was scared of Diddy when he was scary, she says. So she is still getting pushed by defense for years of friendly conversations or communications with Diddy, despite her testimony that she feared him. Another text from Diddy, this time from December of 2022, in which she wishes Diddy a happy holiday season, was shown to the courtroom. The defense pointed out that Mia has told the jury she didn't want to see Diddy because she feared him. Mia was asked whether she was scared of Diddy the entire time she knew him, including from 2019 to 2022. I was scared of him when he was scary. Yes, she said. I think that everybody feels that. It's like, okay, see, this is like I said, I don't mean to sound like a broken record. So I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Okay, it is what it is. All right. So be nice. But here's the thing. Okay. You got a person who has got a lot of money. You got somebody who is literally rubbing elbows with Obama. Damn it, Barry. Damn it. Okay. But you got somebody who is literally rubbing elbows with Donald Trump before he became president, before he had issues with Trump becoming president and all that stuff. And I already know about him, Trump looking into possibly pardoning Diddy, which I'm telling you right now, it ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, guys. Diddy's not gonna get pardoned by Trump. If 50 Cent has something to say about it. Moving on, though. Okay. Just saying, I just don't see it. I don't see it pardoning him, okay? But nonetheless, he has rubbed elbows with big names, huge movie stars, all that stuff. Of course, you're going to want to keep that person on your good side, especially if you know somebody who's very good at blacklisting people, like what Capricorn Clark went through. She kept fighting, trying to find a job somewhere away from Diddy. And he blocked her every which way she went. To the point where she basically had to give in and basically go, can you give me another job? You see what I'm saying? So I guess these people are like, dang, I am literally under his thumb for the rest of my life, unless I just want to bartend for the rest of my life. And a lot of these people are like, well, shoot, I had just had a taste of the good life. I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep up with the Joneses. I don't want to go backwards. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's what's going on with a lot of this. I don't want to deal with all this BS and go backwards. He's right next to Diddy. Like Diddy's right next to Trump, Obama, anybody that is huge and making moves out here in these streets. Why wouldn't I want to be standing right next to him? But then you also have to deal with his monstrous ways, right? So that's the reason why I see people going, wait, this doesn't make sense. You're willing to kiss his ass. But then you're on the stand saying how much he's such a monster, right? But I think that's the sad part about somebody with this kind of power, a terrible human being with this kind of power. You have no choice at that basically at the height of his career. Not anymore. Everyone's going to Hollywood is quiet and trying to step far away from him right now. But if you notice, at the height of his career, everyone was still kissing his ass because he had the Midas touch, right? He had the connects and all that. But let's continue on. So, briefly shown in courtroom feed. Oh, snap. That's not good. So, her face was briefly shown in an internal courthouse feed through error. Okay. Though the error didn't elicit an immediate reaction in the courtroom. So, for 30 seconds, the camera showed Mia, who is testifying under a pseudonym despite a judge's order that her face should not be shown or even drawn by the courtroom sketch artist. So her face was actually shown out here, guys, to the overflow room. And wow, that's bad. When her face was shown in the feed to an overflow room, the prosecution didn't lodge an immediate objection. Maybe they didn't notice, or maybe they forgot. But that's terrible. Prosecution scolds defense for tone of questioning. Yeah, they're probably being kind of disrespectful. Okay, so prosecution alerted the judge that they felt that Diddy's defense was mistreating Mia, accusing Brian Steele of humiliating her on the witness stand. So prosecution laid out concerns that Brian Steele's sarcasm and suggestions that Mia is lying are bordering on harassment and that Steele is adding to Mia's trauma. The judge did not agree that Steele was mistreating Mia, but he did agree that the questions had been argumentative and cumulative in nature. So the judge said that he heard the prosecution's concerns, and they would be on the lookout for offensive conduct. So he added that the government would alert the court if they found anything bad. So the judge warned Steele that he can ask a question and move on, but that if he believes that Steele is asking something to just get it out there, that he would actually step in. So if he was just going in there, it's definitely gaslighting. You know what I mean? Definitely gaslighting. Oh, we're gonna, we won't say anything, but I'll say something if he's trying to step on her toes or trying to be disrespectful. But outside of that, he can continue doing what he's doing, right? So Mia admits that she didn't tell Cassie everything. So the witness said that she was very close to Cassie, but admitted not telling Diddy's girlfriend everything she could have. Remember, we heard this even in prosecution. They're like, yo, you withheld information. Like, you guys were close friends, but you never told her anything about these essays and the experience that you went through. And she's like, well, at that time when she was getting the question by prosecution, she basically said, hey, friends don't tell friends everything, right? Same thing with what's his name? The guy who sashayed in the place. Nash. Deontay Nash. He even said the same, basically along the same thing. Like, there's just certain things that, friends don't tell friends everything. Just because we're close doesn't mean that I'm telling you everything. You see what I'm saying? So Mia conceded that she didn't tell Cassie about Diddy's alleged essay on her. She also said she would keep the music mogul's whereabouts from Ventura under his orders. I remember covering for him and feeling terrible about it. So again, like, it's so weird. This is your best friend. Okay? This is your best friend. And yet your best friend is not allowed to hide from Diddy. But Diddy's allowed to hide from your best friend. That's weird, right? Weird, right? So Diddy put a tracking device on Cassie's car. This guy is something else. So Mia told the court she felt terrible about covering for Diddy with Cassie, but felt that if she didn't, he would have taken away his access to her. So Mia testified that Diddy would find out because he stole her phone, stole their phones, and put tracking devices on Cassie's car. She added that she wasn't sure what Diddy was capable of and reiterated that she was terrified. Mia also says that she wanted to pass away with the secret of her SA. Mia spoke to Cassie after Cassie actually filed her November 2023 lawsuit detailing the SA allegations against him. But Mia testified that she didn't tell Cassie about her own experiences of SA from Diddy during that conversation. I was still deeply shamed and wanted to pass. She wanted to die with this. Okay. She was like, I'm going to take this to my grave. And let me be real. A lot of people do that. There's a lot of people out here, men and women, that have been SA'd viciously and still have not said it out loud, even in their own private, even to themselves in a mirror. Okay. They're like, that is something I am just going to take to the grave. Ain't nobody going to learn about that part of me. Right. That is real. Right. So she went to mediation and asked for $10 million. Here's the $10 million conversation here again. Okay. So after her departure from Diddy's employment, she went to mediation and originally asked for $10 million. That's a whole lot of cash. Damn. So Brian Steele, back at it again, he asked Mia if she'd demanded the 8-digit sum from a lawsuit. She responded that her claim against Diddy went to mediation, and that's where the $10 million emerged as an opening position in negotiations. They eventually settled for $400,000, with her lawyers actually retaining $200,000 of that because, her lawyers are probably very, very expensive. And of course, I could see why some people are looking at that and going, hey, that's weird too, right? That's very interesting. She's in there trying to get money, $10 million, right? So Mia says reasons she kept quiet about the SA allegations are privileged. So that's interesting. Why would she say that too? So his defense pushed Mia about why she waited to tell the government about her allegations of SA against Diddy, saying it took about 7 or 8 months until she revealed the information to prosecution. So again, prosecution was sitting down with her, and apparently it was multitudes of times, like a multitude of interviews with her, and it took her a multitude of times to finally say that piece. Now, here's the thing. I can understand why her not saying anything at that time, but at the same time, you are there with prosecution. I just think that's interesting that she would not say that even at the very beginning, at the very first conversation she had with prosecution. But okay. Mia told the court that she doesn't remember the exact conversations, but that she did not tell the government until she retained legal representation. The reasons are, quote unquote, privileged, she said. Attorney-client privilege protects the confidentiality of communications between a lawyer and the client. So she said this was privileged information on why it took her that long to say anything, which is weird. But they went into lunch break. And then, of course, during the break, the judge said that Mia will be given documents to refresh her memory about the numerous meetings she had with the government prior to the trial. Uh-oh. Okay. And then, of course, they come back from lunch. So let us go into inner city press and the stuff that's being said going into this. So she takes the stand. Okay. Okay. So do you work as an assistant to someone? So did you work as an assistant to someone? maybe 2008 or 2007. I'm not sure. You had a resume saying that you had the ability to multitask and had a thick skin. I'm not sure I'm not sure I wrote that. That you were able to deal with uncomfortable situations 24/7. Objection, reading for document not in evidence. Overruled. Did you use this as your CV? Resume. Looks like it. Okay. Put up a exhibit. They admit it. You went to James Madison University. It's well known. It's a well-known institution. Sure. Yeah, it is. Then you were a design assistant. Yes, I was. In 2008, 2009, you say you provided round-the-clock support, all personal and professional needs, keeping passports, etc. They were all collected. I don't exactly remember. I didn't travel, but you traveled with Diddy's companies, right? Oh, yeah, I did with that. So when you said they had your passport, they had everyone's passport. True. So you weren't singled out, right? Yeah. So you consider yourself a strong person? I'm good at teaching people, not necessarily at enforcing things. Would you consider yourself a leader? I don't know about that. Would you speak up for yourself? No. But you empower other people to do so. True? Of course, yes. Let's look at your text messages in this exhibit. I sound like how I sound. Show the jury 1733. You left Diddy's employment by March of 17 or March of 2017, right? Yes. What did you write to Mr. Combs for Christmas in 2018? Just please read that out loud. Merry Christmas. I love you and the New Year's. I had just seen him at Kim's funeral. So you reached out to him. Absolutely. Okay. How about this 2019 message? Okay. I wrote, I had a nightmare. I was being chased by R. Kelly and you saved me. The person you say R'd you saved you. Objection. Need to rephrase. Steele. Okay. Here. What did you write here? Sending you all the love in the world. You were in his grip. You were not in his grip anymore. It's psychological. Why do you keep referring to psychology? Why did you do this? Kim Porter's tragic demise was 5 months before this. Was 5 months before, I'm sorry. Kim Porter's tragic demise was 5 months before. So why were you reaching out to Mr. Combs? I mean, 5 months is not a lot. What didn't you understand? What didn't you understand that Diddy was brutal to you? And how do you write something like this? Objection, argumentative. Mr. Steele, let's have a brief sidebar. So they have the sidebar. Let's continue. They come back. Now, in May 14th of 2020, you text Mr. Combs what? My heart is broken about Dre. In my spirituality, I know that when people are done with the physical world, it's that they have completed their mission. I love you. What's this about? He auditioned for the James Brown part that Chadwick Boseman got. I told Puff I'd email him videos of his audition. So you carried about, I think you carried a video camera. He required me to do it. Pre-iPhone. I was required. Do you have any footage of Diddy berating you? Objection, overruled. I would not have been allowed to record that. Do you have anything about Diddy berating you? It would have violated the confidentiality. You have no text messages. they should they should have they should me on one on they should me on one direct or me one on direct. What? Showing what? I guess they're saying that something. I do have something basically, and it's like showing what? Puff saying, "F it, let's go to war." Nothing else. Only reaching out to other people in the office, things others had seen. So maybe a group chat. Yeah, they showed me. Thank you, Tiffany. They showed me one on direct. I was like, they showed me one on direct. They showed me one on direct. Showing what? Puff saying, "F it, let's go to war." Nothing else. Only reaching out to other people in the office, the things others had seen. What did you write here? I wrote, "We had so many funny memories. OMGGG. Anything in your phone about being brutalized by Diddy? I don't think so. How would we find out? Objection. Sustained." I mean, I can see what Brian Steele's trying to do here. Like, how would we find out that he was a butthole to you if you're not writing about it or if there's no documentation of him being a butthole to you, right? Mia says, he goes, "Mia, didn't you have time away from Diddy to write? Today he actually, today he SA'd me. I did not have time. And I would not have written that." August 29th, 2020. He wrote to you, "Glad you're well. Glad you're well, love. Please send me the footage for the doc." Continuing on, he says, "Mr. Combs let you go from your employment, right?" "Yeah, and I don't know why. It was confusing. I was called back." Here he says he'll only remember the good times. Yes, he did say that. Hold on. Hold on, guys. He might have started a new one or something because it seems like it just broke off. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, Brian Steele's going in. Oh, wow. Oh, damn. Okay, that's something interesting. Okay, hold on. Oh, we got some things to look into. Oh my gosh. Come on. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. And do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. That'd be greatly appreciated. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back on around the same time, just so you guys know, around 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. But then Wednesday, it'll be a big show. All right. It'll be, really early in the morning and going through the whole thing, just so you guys know. All right. Just these next 2 days, like today and tomorrow, there's some things going on. So just want to make sure you guys know what's going on. Tomorrow we'll start at noon, and then Wednesday we'll be getting back and locking back into the morning hours as well, just so you guys know. Okay. So hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Let's see where we're at with the likes. Hold on. Yeah, if we can get to 1K, that'd be really appreciated. Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Okay, subscribe, please, and thank you. All right. So, and yes, I agree with that, Miss Cavi. All right, it's never cut and dry. Okay, it is never as it seems. It's never simple. I think there's so many avenues of stuff, right? That just get lost. Like I said, there's a lot of gray in this black and white, between the black and white. I truly believe that. So let's continue. For the doc. Okay. Sustained, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mia, didn't you have any time? Didn't you have time away from Diddy to write anything? I mean, like today he essayed me. I did not have time and would not have written something like that. Okay, August 29th. He wrote to you, glad you're well, love. Please send me the footage for the doc. It's 2020. The Me Too movement is strong for 2 years. You could say, I remember the bad times too, right? You could have responded with that. I would never have said that because it's not true. Oh! Prosecution goes objection. Judge says overruled. Who wrote that? Or you wrote what? What did you respond? How did you respond? I love you too. Remember, I want to remind you guys, I want you guys to remember, okay? Remember when she was getting direct, she said from prosecution, when she was getting questioned from prosecution, she said, at that time, there was no Me Too movement. There was no this, that, and the other. I felt trapped. I felt alone, blah, 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 right? So remember, Brian Steele, guys. Brian Steele. Very interesting. Because again, he says 2020. This is August 29th, 2020. He wrote to you. All this time, you could have said anything about being SA'd. Me Too movement been strong for 2 years now, girl. You could have said something along the lines of, I remember the bad times, right? She's like, I would have never said that. He's like, because it was not true. He trying to do a Perry Mason right now. But that's what he's trying to do. He's like, because you're a liar. You know what I mean? You were the one with your hand stuck in the cookie jar. You know? He's waiting for the, you can't handle the truth moment, right? I hope they die and I hope they burn in hell. He's waiting for that moment, right? But that didn't happen. But still, it's a good point that he throws. It's definitely a curveball. Tiffany, yes, it's def a curveball. Definitely a curveball. Okay, like I said, it's called like I see it. So, he says, I would never have said that because it's not true. So then prosecution's like, objection. Judge says, overruled. Continue. So you wrote what? Look at the page. Look at what you text back. What you write. And she says, I love you too. Had plenty of opportunity to say something about being Me Too'd, but you didn't do that now, did you, girl? That's basically what they're trying to show. And they're like, let the jury see Exhibit 72. She had opportunities. F that. I didn't have an opportunity because it was Me Too didn't exist at the time. Blah, blah, blah. Miss me with the nonsense. You had time. Interesting, right? So she responds, I wrote so many crazy things like Mick Jagger trying to take me home and that that Baccarat game, my pink bedazzled iPhone. There are trillions of stories. Of course, I'll send to you. There's dozens of stories. Of course, I'll send them to you. I was bamboozled by Heather. Who the F is Heather? Who's Heather, y'all? I was bamboozled by Heather. Remember the scrapbook I made you? I've got you. Huh. Why didn't you write you bamboozled me? Why did you write you were bamboozled by Heather, but not by Diddy? Because I was brainwashed. By whom? Puff. How did he bamboozle you with a part of his body? What? How did he bamboozle you with a part of his body in yours? Okay. Without your consent. Hold on. That's insane. How did he bamboozle you with a part of his body in your body, I guess, without your consent? Objection sustained. Okay. Mia, what does brainwashing mean? Well, it means that the highs were really high and the lows were really low. I was punished whenever Diddy was violent, making believe I had done something wrong. He was praised by the public. You were aware of the Me Too movement. No outcry out of you at all. Why? He said he was going to tell Cassie what happened. I internalized the blame and the shame. Who threatened to tell Miss Cassie about Diddy supposedly SAing you? Diddy said it. Why didn't you respond? Why didn't you respond? Great. Let's tell everyone what you did to me. Objection sustained. Let's move on. Okay, fine. You said you have a moral obligation to speak up. Yes, now I do. Why not in 2017? I was brainwashed. When did you first say me too then? When I first saw him being held responsible. Now I have therapy. So Diddy wrote, I got to find that. You got a copy? What does that refer to? It means the James Brown audition video. Okay, let's talk about this scrapbook. I wrote, I think I have PDFs. I think I gave it to you for a birthday in your house in Mapleton. I customized the purple leather suit so you could walk, not giving an F. If y'all can't find it, I will, but I didn't. You had a PDF. Yeah, I think so. Or at least I thought so. What did you write here? My grandma went into hospice, so I have to fly out. I have to miss your event here in my own hometown. C'est la vie. Effing crush it and make history. Heart emoji. Deepest sympathy for your grandmother is what he responded. Is how he responded to you, right? Mia says, yeah. Responded saying, thanks. What is this about? I guess another text message. There have been some terrible event with the police. Pharrell organizing an event to change the narrative of Beach Week, which I think is a college thing. You wanted to see Diddy. No, I did not. I only said so. My hometown of Virginia Beach doesn't usually get this type of attention. You're telling the jury you were scared of Diddy. True? True. I was scared of him when he was scary. Okay. Listen to 1750, example, exhibit 1750, and tell me if you recognize it. Move to admit these exhibits. So prosecution says we object. The proper bias for admission has not been established. Let's have a sidebar. Okay, and they're back. Actually, I want to look that up. We're going to hold on real quick before. Oh, snap. See, this stuff is coming. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. We're gonna look at that here in a second. See, it's funny because Mia's already getting exposed. Even now, this is what it may be admitted. So Intercity Press has previously been sent this, only now publishing the link. So we're gonna look at that here in a second. And clearly, people have been saying that Mia is allegedly this particular person. Okay. So we're gonna look at that here in a second. Okay. I'm coming back to that, I promise. But I think that's interesting that even Intercity Press has put out that link to show us. So they're back after this sidebar. All right. So prosecution says until now had been objecting to exhibits and turning over private correspondence of this witness. We have now sat through hours of humiliating cross. Mr. Steele has insulted this witness, saying things like, God forbid, after things she said. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of rude, right? I think that's kind of messed up too. She's up there, she's saying her things, and he's basically mocking her, and just messing with her, right? And I get it. He doesn't have to believe her. That's his job. But at the same time, he can still do it in a respectable way, right? A respectable way. right? So one by one, Your Honor. One by one, Your Honor, let the exhibit in, but now we have reached harassment. Given the tone, we don't think continuing this is appropriate. She has carried herself with grace. This is adding to trauma. Eyes are on this trial. She's got a point there too. Everybody watching this, aren't we all watching this right now? Other victims in other trials will become aware of this. I have not seen yelling. My understanding is that his, God forbid, is an apology, not an attempt to intimidate. But the argumentative questions is, Mr. Steele here? You're repeating yourself. If you think you're asking questions just to ask them, I'm going to tell you to move on. Understood? Steele says, I understand. I don't see improper treatment here, prosecution, but I will continue to watch. Okay. So they say, I saw photographs, 1799, 1 through 25. Can I see them? We don't have stamped versions of these. Do you have the photos? Yes, but we won't know which one you're referring to. Mr. Steele, I guess it's like numbered pieces, right? Numbers, photos. Mr. Steele, why don't they have stamped copies of these? Only saw this morning. So once again, what defense is doing, they have been submitting random things at the very last minute. Once again, at the last minute, here's all this stuff. And they're like, wait a second, we got a stack of photos. All these are part of this exhibit that you're trying to expose and, for your client. But we're just getting it now. We just got it before the trial started. So we can't follow what he's talking about if these things aren't numbered, right? Like I said, last minute trash. Just show them to me one by one. Next, Mr. Steele, what is this? What is the relevance? Then Steele says impeachment. She said she had no time for herself to tell others. These images show Mia with friends and families over the years. Why would baby showers have relevance? Why not just ask questions about this? Why show these? Steele says, because I think to do the impeachment, I like to do the impeachment that way. Absent any further showing, okay, they are excluded. Admit them for record. Judge says no. Steele says we want them in if there's an appeal. We'll put them in the case file. That's how we'll handle it. Steele says, I asked Mia, you still have friends? And she said, I did not see them. I did not have an external sounding board. She said there was no time. The problem, the judge says, the problem is putting in the post. They are not relevant, and they are not cumulative. You already spent a lot of time to the scrapbook. Please bring Mia back in. So he's like, come on, wrap it up, B. Let's get straight to the point, because this is ridiculous. And because you're adding more and more crap, I get what you're trying to do here, but it ain't gonna fly. Let's keep it moving. You can have this later if you want to appeal. If you're really predicting that he's going to be found guilty on all these charges, and you want these for the appeal, by all means, go ahead. But we ain't going to use it right now. Okay, let's bring her back in, because they have a tendency of bringing these things at the very, very last minute, which is annoying as F. Let's move on. So Steele, Mia again. Okay, defense and Mia. You said she was your sister. Yes, you loved her. Absolutely. Do you feel the same way today? Yes. You would never lie to her, right? Diddy didn't allow me to tell her things like where he was. Anything he said. Was Cassie in love with Diddy? I thought so. Did you ever tell her the person she loved R'd you? No. Do you remember telling her Diddy's brain needed to be rewired? May we have a sidebar? Judge says you may. They have another sidebar. They're back at it again. Why would you cover up for Diddy to Cassie? Why writing to Diddy is just misunderstood. Objection. Can you please rephrase that? Yeah, rephrase that ish. Did you tell Cassie she needs to stay with Diddy? I don't remember that. He could find out what I was telling her. How? He had stolen my phone and Cassie's phone many times. He's put tracking devices on her car. But you were alone with Cassie? Yes. You sued Diddy for $10 million. It was a mediation. My lawyers ended up getting $200,000. And then you got $200,000 too, right? Yes, I did. Please look at the screen. Is that your social media account? Looks like a text message. And it does sound like a text message by me. Your text to Diddy. I don't remember saying this. You were in a tutu, and Diddy appears to be holding his private parts. And in Cassie's lawsuit, she alleged of SA. Yes. Why did you still communicate with Diddy? Objection, sustained. Did you meet these prosecutors in January of 2024? I may have. I don't remember the timing. Did you tell them Diddy SA'd you? I don't remember when I told them. Did you get a lawyer at that time? Yes, I did. The lawyer, who had 45 days earlier obtained an enormous judgment. Objection, sustained. Why did you hire her? Objection, sustained. Let's move on. You only first alleged SA in June of 2024. I don't remember the timing of things. The rest I can't go into. I understand it's privileged. Objection by prosecution. Judge says that's sustained. Let's have a sidebar, please. So they have another sidebar. They come back. We're back still with defense against, this defense with Mia, but there's a conversation here. So let's talk about Prince's party. You said you had no permission to go there, but you knew many people who knew Diddy would be there, right? Judge says, please rephrase. Did you wear a disguise to go to Prince's party? No, I didn't. Any photo of the chase? No. You say you and Cassie got on a paddleboard into a storm, right? Yes, and this is, of course, when they went out of town. Any recording of that altercation? No. Any note or text message that can prove that it actually happened? I don't think so. We were on a paddleboard. Did you just make this up? No, I didn't. You said you had no time with family. Did you ever go to events with your family and friends? Sporadically over 8 years, sure, but few and way far between. What about weddings? Yeah, my sister and my best friends, I believe. Did you ever celebrate like other holidays like Halloween and stuff? I don't remember. You had times with others, right? I had to be in communication 24/7. I was never outside of his grip. Outside of the work environment, though, why couldn't you explain the A you say you were experiencing? And I'm saying outside of the work environment. It was more complicated than that. Isn't it true that other than the few times Diddy was violent towards Cassie, which is never okay, you were comfortable with Diddy? And then the judge says, you'd have to rephrase. Okay. You never advised Cassie to leave him. No, I didn't. Until 2024, you never told anyone you were SA'd unless it was my privileged therapist. That's true. Could you waive that privilege? Objection. Judge says move on. My Lord, Brian Steele, you joined the Me Too money grab against Diddy, didn't you? Objection. Oh, this man ripping the Band-Aid off, y'all. Objection. You knew Cassie received money from her lawsuit against Diddy, did you not? Yeah, it was public. Everyone knew. But you speak with Cassie. You still talk to Cassie to this day, right? Never about anything I discussed with the government. How will we know that? Objection sustained. Wow. Let me show you a few documents. Take your time. Read it for yourself. And Your Honor, while she's reading that, can we have another sidebar? Yes. Sidebar ensues. Oh, my dear God. See, like I said, this guy is trying to get his Perry Mason on, okay? We're not talking about Matlock. We're talking about Perry Mason, okay? Crazy. So, jurors can leave, so they leave. Judge Tamia, when we come back, you'll be shown these documents. Have a good break. So they go on this break. We'll talk with the government over the break about the witness lawyer. Okay. And then they go into the break. Now they're back. Okay. First off, let me just say a quick break for a second. First off, shout out to Inner City Press. Man, I'm just saying, this is not Matlock. This is not Matlock. Okay. This isn't. Nope. He trying to get his Perry Mason on. Okay. Yeah, this is some crazy stuff. He's trying to expose her hoard. And it may work. It might work. I don't know. Because again, let's go back real quick before we go back to where we were. Okay, this is crazy. Because he says, you joined the Me Too movement for a money grab against Diddy, did you not? And objection, you knew Cassie received money from her lawsuit. And she made crazy money, right? And she's like, well, that was public. But you spoke, and you still speak with Cassie. Never about anything I discussed with the government. Jury can sit there and go, nah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? Never about anything discussed with the government. Bad. How do we know that? It's like, you can sit here and say that all you want all day long right now, girl. But how do we know, girl? Quit lying, right? So, okay. They're like, okay. They're like, objection. And then the judge is like, sustained, right? So he's like, oh, okay. Let me get some of this proof. Hold up. We got some documents up in this mother love. We gonna take a break. Judge, can we have a sidebar? That's basically what defense Brian Steele is doing right now. He's like, oh, okay. We gonna poke holes up in this mother love. We gonna sink this mother loving ship. B12 or B17. I sunk your battleship, mother love. Okay. So let's take a look at this. First off, before we go after the break, okay, because that's some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Let's take a look at this video, though. Let's take a look at this video. Apparently, Inner City Press received this, and then he shared it in this whole feed. So we got to take a look at this, okay? Just real quick, let's take a look at this.
Shameless plug. Gotta put my lip gloss on. Poppin'! Puff Daddy, the living legend himself. You've not only revolutionized the game, but the entire world. I'm so blessed to call you my friend. Thank you for truly being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. To another 44 years of brilliance. Let's fuck shit up. I love you. Happy birthday.
What's crazy to me is that she also has the Cassie like hairdo. You know what I'm saying? Which can also be like, is she doing like a, you know what I mean? It's very, sorry, she is a white woman. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. It's very single white female type vibes. I'm sorry, I said it. So I can see if that is something that's out there, or if that's something that's being submitted or being brought into the trial. If, like, again, if this is actually the woman, This is bad. This could be very bad. Okay? That's very bad. That ain't no good. Okay, cabrón. No good. No good. It's bad, cabrón. It's bad. And you got Brian Steele getting his Perry Mason on right now. Okay? So again, he's like, hey, take a look at the documents. Judge, can we have a sidebar? Because I'm about to mop the floor with her ass. Now, here's the thing. This right here, not good. Not good. Not good. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're somebody that is working for somebody that is Diddy, and you're like, well, if I don't do a video saying, happy birthday, I have to kiss your ass, because you're fearful of losing your job, what do you think is going to happen? Real talk. What do you think is going to happen? Same doggone hairstyle. Some people look at that and go, ooh, that's no good. Like I said, not good. Not good at all, cabrón. Not good. Mimi, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's get into this. They're back from their break, okay, at that time, because we are like an hour behind the trial, okay? We getting through it. We going, okay? We cooking, all right? But damn, Brian Steele's putting in the work. Diddy's getting his money worth right now for bringing in Brian Steele. So, Mr. Steele, you may proceed. Mia, were you able to review over the bread? Over the bread, some of your interviews with prosecutors. I don't know what that is. The review over I guess some of the information. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I don't understand what that is. Bread? Maybe the break? Thank you. I'm like, what the hell? Over the bread? Sorry. Thank you, guys. Over the break. We're able to review over the break some of your interviews with the prosecution. Mia says, yes. Thank you, guys. I'm just speed reading through this stuff. So thank you. Thank you for so much for using your brain power for me today. So yes, she says. And you didn't mention SA until June of 2024. I don't remember the dates. Did you give all your materials to the government? I gave them all to my lawyer. They gave them to the government. Okay. All right. That's fine. How about this? Look at this one here. In these notes, did you raise SA to the prosecutors? Did you mention this stuff to them at that time? Prosecution, objection, improper refreshment, overruled. Did you raise it in January of 2024? Definitely not. It was definitely not in the first meeting for sure. I don't remember each specific meeting, but I definitely didn't raise it in the first meeting. Brian Steele continues saying, and in this next document that you just reviewed, judge says, just ask her if her recollection is refreshed. Okay? Because Brian Steele is basically like, okay, and in the next document that you just reviewed, okay, does it ring a bell at all? Because he's really milking it. You know for a fact he's milking it. So he's like, just ask if the recollection is refreshed. Okay, you don't have to milk it. No. She goes, no, not the specifics. I don't remember all of this. You never mentioned SA until you hired lawyer Sean Crowley. Or Crowley. Sean Crowley. I have no idea what I first mentioned when I first mentioned it, except it was after I had representation for sure. So once I got a lawyer, that's when I talked about it. So you intend to sue Diddy. You intended to sue Diddy for compensation. You wanted money, right? No, I did not. Who have you worked for since then? Since you're leaving Diddy? I worked for Madonna. For how long did you work for Madonna? That sounds cool. 8 months. From April 2019 to, okay, so then when you did that, did he assist you in getting that job? Did he have any influence in you getting that gig? Absolutely not. So you weren't blacklisted? No. No retribution whatsoever by the diddler. He took away the TV show, the credit I was actually promised. You told the jury you were surprised you were let go, right? I did. Weren't you let go for drinking? No, that's not true. You remember Cassie's video called Official Girl, right? Yes, I do. And King of Hearts and her song with Nicki Minaj, The Boys. Yes. And Nicki Minaj is well known, is she not? Yeah, she is. And Cassie did the song Numb with Rick Ross. She did. And I love it with Fabulous, right? Yeah. And do you remember Cassie being in studio with Kid Cudi? I mean, I don't remember the specifics. And Diddy himself. Yeah, I do remember that. The TV show you mentioned, what was it to be about? Actually, it was about my experience in the industry. How a person from a small town dealt with, so it was about how a person from a small town dealt with a person such as Diddy, right? Yeah, but it was like a comedic version of that experience. What other films did you work on? Dope, Lawless, Undefeated. You enjoyed the projects? Yeah, I did greatly. And you called the people a second family, did you not? We all called it that. You thought Diddy was a genius. Am I correct? Yeah, at the time, I thought he was a genius. You wanted to continue to work with Diddy, right? Yeah, I wanted to continue following my dream. Do you, if Diddy's company, wait. Do you, if Diddy's company put more money into promoting Cassie? I think it's, do you know if Diddy's company put more money into promoting Cassie than any of its artists? I didn't absorb everything. Who is Jason Wiley? He worked on the record label in budgeting, right? Do you recall being given the opportunity to have your therapist notes be seen by the parties? What? That's a little bit of a left turn, but okay. Prosecution says objection, sidebar, another sidebar by Jesse Weber. No, I'm kidding. Shout out to Lawn Crime, by the way. Shout out to Lawn Crime. Interesting. That was a little bit of a weird left turn. I'm going to go back, okay? Do you know if Diddy's company put more money into promoting Cassie than in any other of its artists? She says, I didn't absorb all the details or any of that information. Who is Jason Wiley? He worked for the record label. In budgeting, right? Do you recall being given the opportunity to have your therapist notes be seen by the parties, which is insane? That's a very interesting piece of information. Then they say objection. And of course, the judge says sidebar. So let's continue. They go back. You never called law enforcement, right? I did not. You said you were stopped while speeding in LA. Did he got you out of that ticket, though? You remember saying that, right? I do. Did you ever think of calling anonymously? No. When you say Diddy hurt your arm, did you seek medical help for that? No. It would not have been allowed. Did you take any photos of these bruises? No. Did you scream? No. I was in shock. Okay. Before the 5 days you say you were awake for, you said you were awake for like 5 days, right? Did you ever stay awake? Have you ever stayed awake that long before? Absolutely not. You testified you would give up all of the money if there had not been SA. Any discussion that you will make money by testifying? No. No. That's not even a thing. Okay, and then they say, "Okay, Your Honor, can I set up for those can I set up those other matters?" And it says, "Yes, we'll break for that." So they go on a break. Bop bop bop. And of course, they're going to be back. So they're back from the break. It was like a 20, a little less than, a little over. Yeah. It was a significant break, which is interesting. So defense says nothing further, right? Now, again, what's interesting about this, and this is the whole, so far, this is the whole day. Yeah, just me. Okay. They are taking the whole day to do this doggone thing, which is insane. They're spending the whole day on her because they're trying to poke holes out, and they're trying, I believe, the defense is just basically trying to show that this is somebody that is not a reliable witness. They're trying to discredit the witness, to try to make it seem like all she's trying to be there for is try to destroy and make Diddy look even more like a monster, and that she never experienced any of these things. And I want to say this too. Some of the questions are very good questions. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm going to call it like I see it. Okay. And when prosecution gives some good, throws out some good questions, and when when that particular witness is coming out with nothing but the heat and the fire, I'm going to talk about that. But even when the defense is coming out with something, it's like, that's a very good point, I'm going to call it. Sorry. This is the world that we live in. So again, when I look at this, I'm like, damn, this is crazy that we're looking at this and hearing very good questions that are being asked right now, which is, hey, were you suddenly just reaching out to prosecution, to the feds, because you knew that Cassie made money off that lawsuit? Then when it comes to all of these things, when she says, "Oh, because because of the Me Too movement, it didn't exist at the time, so that's why I didn't say anything at that time." Well, then the Me Too movement did exist, and it still exists to this day. For real, it still does. So why didn't you get an opportunity? You've had plenty of times, plenty of opportunities to speak out. You don't work for Diddy anymore, so you've had plenty of downtime to make phone calls, to put out an op-ed, for crying out loud, to put out allegations, to file a lawsuit, etc. So they're pointing out all of those things. Then on top of that, even more good questions like this, and it's bad because it looks bad on her part. Real talk, it does. I'm sorry. For the ones that are going Diddy going down, this one's not so good. This one's kind of, it's like faulty. Like I said, lots of gray. But here it is. Okay. Did he ever call law enforcement? She says no. Okay. Then he got her out of a speeding ticket, right? Then she said, she helped her out. He helped her out in that situation. Then he's like, then still says a very good question. Did you ever think of just calling in anonymously? Saying he Me Too'd me, for example, right? He SA'd me. No. Then when it comes to even the physical bruises on the doggone arm, when he grabbed her phone, was running away from her, and she was trying to retrieve her phone back, he runs into a room and slams the door multiple times so that she could stop reaching and trying to grab her phone back from Diddy. If he really did slam her arm in that door the way that she says he did, she'd have bruises all up and down, at least her forearm. So again, good questions right here, right? When you say that he hurt your arm, did you seek any medical help? Why would you not have medical records of this, right? Here's the other thing. Did you even take photos of this? No, I did not. Did you scream? She says, no, I did not. I was in shock. You mean to tell me that no one could hear you scream when somebody's slamming a door in your arm? Real talk. Because then at least it'd be like someone in the room going to be like, yes, I heard some screaming. I just thought it was a pussycat just walking across the street. No, she says, I didn't even scream. I was just in shock. While this man is borderline breaking my doggone arm. What? You see what I'm saying though, right? Poking holes. The jury's going to be like, oh, and they're writing it down in their notes. See what I'm saying? They are, oh boy, they are putting a hurt into this woman right now. And what's sad is she could very well be telling the truth, but they are putting a hurting to her right now. This is brutal. Cross is putting in work. This mother loving Brian Steele getting his doggone Perry Mason on. I'm telling you right now. He's trying to go like the big reveal. You know what I mean? As the gavel strikes. On the next episode of As the Gavel Strikes, Brian Steele, pretty crazy. So that's crazy. You testified you would give up all the money if there had not been SA. Any discussions that you'll make money by testifying today? She says, no, I came on my own free will. All right. She says, that's not even a thing. Let's go on. So they're back. They say nothing further. So, member of the jury, do not consider any of the testimony about this witness communication with her therapist. Please omit all that. Because, yeah, it is kind of ridiculous, but I get it. Brian's still going to be reaching. He be reaching. So they turn to the prosecution. Judge turns to the prosecution, goes, you can redirect if you'd like. So Mia, was posting social media part of your job? Yes, it was. As part of that, did you post your personal Instagram account, or did you post on your personal Instagram account? She says, yes, I did. What did Diddy do if he thought you were not doing your job? I'd be yelled at and humiliated. Did other employees also post for Diddy's birthday? Yes. Yes, they did. The birthday video, was it for Club Diddy? Yes, it was. Did Diddy co-own the water you were drinking? And did you say Revolt, the project you were working on, at the end? Yes, I did. Oh, let's take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? So, Aqua, okay, Hydrate is allegedly Diddy's. Allegedly owned by Diddy. Interesting, right? Let's continue on. I'm just breaking this down.
Shameless plug. Gotta put my lip gloss on. Poppin'! Puff Daddy, the living legend himself. You have not only revolutionized the game, but the entire world. I'm so blessed to call you my friend. Thank you for truly being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. To another 44 years of brilliance. Let's fuck shit up. I love you. Happy birthday. Revolt.
So it is her. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Yeah. So she had a dream about being trapped in an elevator with R. Kelly. So that's her. That's crazy. So here's the thing with the Cassie haircut and everything. Now, here's what's interesting. Okay. So He co-owned the water that you were drinking. Did you say revolt? She just said that at the very end of the video. Revolt, right? The project that you're working on at the end, or the project or the company film production that you were working on, right? At the end, she says, yes. You posted about the good, not bad times. She says, yes. Why did you want to make the person who aided you so happy? Because when he was happy, I was safe, she says. Were you worried about your physical safety? Yes. I had been aided by Diddy before. I knew his wrath. Did you engage in pro bono? Did you engage in a pro bono lawyer? Yes, I did. Why did you meet with the government so much? So my story could be understood. Why were you so terrified? I was so terrified of Puff and his and the repercussions of stepping out, stepping forward. Did the government tell you what to say? No. Only to tell the truth. How did you feel about public speaking? How do I feel about public speaking? It's terrifying. Can you explain that? Given that you've been in comedy. I had Puff's permission for that. Any comparison to testifying about Diddy's essaying, about Diddy essaying you here? None. Any comparison to, okay. So speaking out, any comparison, to comedy, performing in a show, to testifying here about being essayed by Diddy, there is no comparison whatsoever. Why are you here then? Why are you here today? If not, I couldn't look at my goddaughters. I couldn't look at them in the eye and ever advise them what to do in this kind of situation. I guess they're done. Any recross? Mr. Steele? Nope. No, sir, we're good. You may go. Unless you want to stay. She says, I'm good. I'm out. So, interesting, right? So let us go back to this. Wow. One female juror appears skeptical of parts of Mia's testimony. A female juror was seen smiling, seemingly enjoying the defense attorney Steele's cross-examination of Mia. Now they're reading the jury's faces now, which is very interesting. So sometimes the juror would widen her eyes and furrow her brow, appearing skeptical of Mia's testimony. And I think that that's what a lot of people are saying right now. It's like, wow, this is weird, right? Miss me with the nonsense, right? There's a lot of gray area here for sure. After you worked for Diddy, Mia worked for Madonna. So again, one thing that's also interesting, and I want to point out, is that Brian Steele also showed that, hey, even though she lost her job and was fired for being insubordinate, and apparently, allegedly, maybe for drinking on the job, God only knows, she still was able to go and get another job working for Madonna. It wasn't like she was blacklisted. It wasn't like she was blocked from working ever again. And that's one thing that Brian Steele was trying to show proof positive of. Oh, you are so worried, okay? You're so worried. You're so freaking worried that you're not going to be able to work anywhere. But in actuality, you were able to move on and work for Madonna. So what are you talking about? He didn't block you from anything. And then, of course, he asked the other thing, like, did he help you get that job? Because that would make Diddy look even better, right? But apparently that didn't happen either, which is very interesting as well. So the witness said she went on to work for Madonna after being let go from her job with Diddy, refuting insinuations that she had not been employed and could be bitter with the defendant. So, in an 8-month stint with why do they have to do that? With the Material Girl. Remember that song? That was like 7,000 years ago. But anyway, Mia said that she worked as an assistant in addition to the Icon's film division. Mia said she secured the Madonna gig independently without Diddy's help. The witness also accused Diddy of reneging on helping her with a TV show she had developed. Yeah. And again, she developed the TV show. She wanted to make it happen. Apparently, she even acted in the show as well. And then that show got, I guess, shelved, which is insane as well. Because you can tell she wants to be an actress. Look, one more again. She wants to be an actress.
Shameless plug. Gotta put my lip gloss on. Poppin'! Puff Daddy, the living legend himself, you have not only revolutionized the game, but the entire world. I'm so blessed to call you my friend. Thank you for truly being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. To another 44 years of brilliance, let's fuck shit up. I love you. Happy birthday. Revolt.
I mean, let's be real. She even said in herself, in her direct testimony, she even said herself that she was wanting to, I think she wanted to be an actress. She wanted to produce some shows. She wanted to star in those shows, or at least be an actress in those shows while producing those shows as well, right? And then everything came crumbling down. So maybe she had dreams and aspirations of turning into something, right? Creating her own version, all right, of something. And then, maybe she was trying to do her own, like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but done in the music industry or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the show. I don't know what she was trying to do, but I think that's very interesting nonetheless. And it didn't work out. Then also on top of that, she's like, oh yeah, happy birthday in this video. And you got to remember, maybe it was this criteria. Maybe it was a have to. Making that video was a have to, because it's Diddy. If she didn't do a video, that could get her in trouble. Possibly. Everyone was made to do a video. Love you, Puff. Thank you so much. Let's stroke his ego. You see what I'm saying? You're a genius. You're a brilliant man, right? That's possible. But let's continue. But I do think that it's interesting that she worked for Madonna afterwards. She was able to get that job without Diddy's help, which also is helpful on as far as the side of prosecution side. But one thing's for sure, there is no pattern of her being forced to work, forced to not be able to work, right? Being blackballed, blacklisted, etc. So defense questions Mia and on Cassie's work through the years. So Mia was asked several questions about Cassie's working life during her years with Diddy, as the defense apparently tried to undermine prior witnesses' implications that he stunted her career. Yeah, you heard Capricorn Clark herself say, yeah, I mean, she's got talent, but I wouldn't say she's talented, right? She's a studio musician. I wouldn't say she's, a good singer or an amazing performer out here in these streets. And also she was so zooted, so on so much substances, and she felt like she was entitled solely because she was sleeping with Diddy, that she became lazy and complacent. So again, that's in the brains of the jury right now. All right. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia questions about Cassie obtaining modeling jobs, movie work, and even music she worked on with other artists such as Wiz Khalifa. So Mia testified that all of this was done with Diddy's knowledge and consent. Prior witnesses have said that while Cassie recorded music while dating Diddy, she was unable to release new albums as part of her 10-album deal with Diddy with his record company. Cassie has only one studio album, which we already know about. And of course, she released a mixtape that apparently did very well. But again, she only had one album that came out. That's it. Defense hammering home unalive oneself, message. So Steele revisited the unaliving, doing the unthinkable thing to herself, text message by Mia echoing what might be the defense strongest point of this cross-examination. But like in previous instances of Steele making or asking Mia about her praising Diddy, the witness owned it and explained her mindset of wanting to remain employed by the defendant. My entire world was ripped away from me immediately. And even if, in hindsight, the world was awful, I didn't know it at the time. That's why it felt like everything was ending. Interesting. Mia says it wasn't clear to Cassie that she and Diddy were not exclusive. So, cross-examination of Mia moved into the former assistant's observation of Cassie and Diddy's relationship, specifically whether Cassie was jealous of other women. She testified that in her experience, she only recalls Cassie being upset that she saw Diddy with another woman while Cassie was filming in South Africa. Gina, this is the Gina conversation. So Mia testified that the relationship was presented to Cassie as one of exclusivity between her and Diddy. When defense attorney Brian Steele noted that clearly wasn't true, Mia told the court it was not clear to her. Mia reiterates that Diddy had threatened her life. So they revisited Mia's prior testimony of the violence she said she endured while working for Diddy, noting that in 14 years, all she ever wrote about Diddy were statements of admiration. So Mia testified that there was a time where Diddy slammed a door on her arm and continued to apply pressure, leaving her bruised. She said that the only interaction with Diddy's human resources was for them to enforce a punishment he wanted. So the only time that they ever did anything to, in any kind of reaction or any conversation that she had with HR was only when he said, put her on suspension or fire her ass. And that's it. Steele recalled her prior testimony saying she was scared of being unalived, asking Mia if there were times she felt that she could pass away at Diddy's hand. Mia told the court that he had threatened her life and physically attacked her, which we already know about as well. So they pick up the redirect. Prosecution. Okay. She was asked about her work with Diddy, which included managing all of his social media presence. She testified that if Diddy did not feel as if she was doing her job, she would be punished and her job would be threatened. This apparently included posting Diddy for Diddy's birthday. As Mia told the court, she would have been in trouble if she didn't post. Working hard and staying out of trouble. On redirect, Mia said she had a good reason to keep working hard and ensuring that Diddy was pleased because when he was happy, I was safe, she said. The defense repeatedly asked Mia why she stayed with Diddy despite the alleged attacks she endured. Mia didn't distance herself from previous statements of admiration for Diddy, saying that there were high highs and low lows, right? But the high highs at the point of her career and life seemed to make up for the low lows. Even the SA, though, I'm just going to ask it. I'm going to ask it out loud. Even the SA slamming her arm in a door? I don't know. That's kind of terrible. Okay, so the alleged attacks is the worst thing she ever had to talk about. So the prosecution had her reiterate her feelings of fear in talking about Diddy, with her testifying that her terror and difficulty understanding what allegedly happened was partly why she met with the government so much. So again, she's like, I'm trying to process everything. I get that part. If these claims are to be true, I can get that part. She's still processing things in her brain. There's trauma, etc. Like I said, if these things are true, but then I can see how some other people could look at this on the other side and go, well, she was still developing her lies, right? This still was giving her time to develop the lies more and more and more, right? So I can see both sides of the spectrum here. But moving on, prosecution asked Mia if she had ever been able to speak about her allegations that Diddy SA'd her without looking down. She says, "No, it's the worst thing I've ever had to talk about in my life." Mia says she couldn't look at her loved ones in the eye without testifying, which makes sense. If you are a victim and you are having an opportunity to take a monster down, I can see where, she would want to step forward. Because, what about if she had kids in the future, right? The witness said she has no choice but to testify against Diddy because she didn't want her younger female loved ones to turn a blind eye to the issue of SA. She says, because I can't look at my niece or my goddaughters in the eyes in the future if they happen to be in this same situation. Hopefully that never happens for her loved ones. But so then we go into Sylvia Oken. So she is the director of sales and marketing at Beverly Hills Hotel. Okay. And she's on the stand right now as another witness for prosecution. So Oken, Sylvia, told the jurors that Diddy used aliases like Philip Pines and Frank Black for hotel reservations. She said it's not uncommon for entertainment industry guests to stay at a hotel under an alias. Yeah, and that is very, very true. She's got a very good point there. So the government acknowledges witness's face. Whoops. The government acknowledges witness's face was shown in error. So that's good. They finally talked about it. Prosecution told the court that hours earlier, the face of Mia was mistakenly shown on video that was piped into the courthouse overflow room, which is not good. Judge asked if something went wrong with the redacted footage that should have been aired, and the incorrect version was used. The prosecution did not have an answer. Now court is adjourned for the day. With no one expected to return for continued testimony, prosecution says they will start tomorrow off by calling someone named Eddie Garcia to the witness stand tomorrow. Garcia worked as a security supervisor at the Los Angeles hotel where Diddy attacked Cassie in March of 2016. He briefly took the stand today to invoke the Fifth Amendment, his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. What? Oh, wow. Here's the other thing, though. He received an immunity order sparing him from potential prosecution as long as he answers the questions truthfully. Court has been adjourned, and they will return tomorrow for more mucky muck. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Could Eddie Garcia be the man who got paid to delete the video of Cassie getting attacked by Diddy? That is a question I'd like to have answered at some point, but that is very interesting. Let's take a look at the transcript, or, the transcript from Inner City Press. Okay. So next witness. Okay. The government calls Sylvia Oken. Where do you work? Oken says, I work at the Beverly Hill Hotel, and I've been there for about 17 years. I'm the director of sales and marketing. How do the reservations actually work there? Oh, well, we have this whole system. It's called Oprah. It's called Opera. And this is where we set up all the reservations and stuff. It's a very standard system that's used in a lot of hotels. Okay. Does Opera link a customer's alias to their real name? Yes, they do. And this one, who is it really? So they're showing a name like Frank Black or Philip Pines, right? She says, oh, that's Sean Combs. Can a guest change his or her alias if they want to? Yes, they can. How is this paid for? It's to T. Fletcher. Maybe it's a typo, but it's to Fletcher at Bad Boy. paid by American Express, owned by Sean Combs. What's this? The folio or bill for the actual room that they stayed in 249. So what's his? Or what's this? A $500 charge for oil damage because there was a lot of baby oil all over the place, right? No further questions. Defense comes up. The accompanying guest was Cassie Ventura, right? Yes. Nothing more. That's it. Like, it's weird to have them come up, right? Like that's the weird thing. Like having Sylvia Oken, right? Having her come up and testify this, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, didn't we already establish this before prosecution? Didn't you bring somebody else up to do this? And they were talking about opera. Why I keep on saying Oprah? But you know what I mean? Didn't they already establish this BS? But so they say, oh, nothing more. Can you do the same thing? Can the accompanying guest was Cassie Ventura, right? Yes. And they're like, okay, nothing further. Moving on. So this is a good place to let the jury go for the day. And they say, okay, jurors. Or yes, okay, jurors, see you tomorrow. Who's next? They say Eddie Garcia for an hour and a half. Then we think the video expert, witness Jane, will be having an international flight. So we'll try to get her on before. Oh, really? Okay, so who is this Jane Doe? Okay, witness Jane will be having an international flight. So we'll try to get her on before. So maybe they're trying to get her on before the weekend, maybe, or before she leaves or something like that. I don't know, but I'm wondering who this witness is. That's what I'd like to know as well. Okay, until tomorrow. And they done for the day. Okay, so this has been a very, very interesting one today. I think because it's like Dawn Richard, right? Dawn Richard and Mia. Those two are bad. Yeah, I'll say it. Those two were not good. Like they didn't do very well. Again, I can understand both sides of the fence. I can see where some people will look at Mia's testimony and be like, she just made all this up. It's all cap. It's all lies. She just wants to destroy Diddy because she feels some type of way. Maybe she just feels angry because she had a passion piece that she wanted to get going. It was this close to being done. And then all of a sudden it got stripped from her hands and everything got shut down. That could very well be it. Or maybe she had some sort of crush on Diddy, wanted to be with Diddy, and it didn't work out because he was still holed up on Cassie. Or she didn't like how Diddy was treating Cassie. Seeing all that, all the A and the SA, or not the SA, but the attacks, okay, that Cassie went through, maybe she just couldn't take it anymore. Maybe she was angry about that. And then on top of this, like, I hold secrets for you. I've been a true blue diehard friend and employee for your ass. And then you fire me? And I've been here working my tookus off for your mother-loving ass? And now you're going to fire me? Oh, I know exactly where all the bodies are buried. That could be it too. And she's like, hey, this was an opportunity for me to become something, right? To branch out and do something that I'm passionate about. And he took my credit and destroyed the entire department that I was a part of. Dreams crushed within seconds. Just because he decided to snap his fingers. Crazy, right? Could very well be just a complete disgruntled employee. Could very well be that saw some crazy attacks and held all that and was saying, I'm going to take this to the grave. Or she really did endure some serious SA. That's still very possible as well. That she went through some things and was so scared because she knew exactly what kind of person she was dealing with. You got to remember, I truly believe that the attacks that she saw, that she ran away from, that took her and Cassie onto a paddle boat in the middle of the ocean type stuff, just so they can stay away from a volatile, anger fueled Diddy. I believe that stuff. I truly believe that stuff. I don't think that those things are just fabricated and made up stories. But it does hurt her story. It does hurt her narrative. It does hurt what she's saying out here when she has nothing to back it up with. One thing that Cassie has for sure is that video. That video is scathing. That video is very revealing. So it's easy for us to go, well, how he was treating her in that video, that was not his first time putting his hands on Cassie. And that for damn sure was not the last time he put his hands on Cassie. That looked like a routine that is normal, right? But the fact that this woman has gone and been there for well over several years, I can see why defense is asking her, where are the receipts? Where's the proof? Show us the proof. Show us the Carfax right now. You say you had, crazy bruising on your arm because you was slamming your arm in a door. Where's the proof of that? You didn't take a photo, not even a photo. That's insane. Is there maybe a photo of like a day or two after that you took randomly, like you were taking a photo with somebody and that we could see the bruising on your arms, right? Can you maybe show us a photo of that? And she did not show that. She did not have that. So, like I said, not sitting here saying that I don't believe her being attacked by Diddy. I believe that she was too. I do. SA'd, I don't know. But her getting hurt by Diddy, I believe that. But the fact that she does not have the actual proof, that is going to poke, like I said, that's going to put some problems for the jury when they go to deliberate. Because then instantly you go, well, is this person here for vengeance or is this person here for justice? So I guess that's the same thing that we got to find out and figure out as well. But I am kind of curious about tomorrow. Tomorrow, Eddie Garcia is supposed to be taking the stand. He allegedly is the person who I think he's the person who got bribed. I think that's what it is. And if he's the guy, tomorrow morning is going to be a very interesting testimony. Because again, he got paid, I don't know how much, 10 grand or something like that, to make sure that that video was never seen ever again. But apparently it was seen. So we're going to see, because he came in and instantly he's sitting there going, I plead the fifth. Real talk. I plead the fifth. So hopefully this is going to be a good one. Not just some BS of like the George Kaplan thing. I'm like, come on, man. That was trash. That really was trash. Okay. Oh, yeah, I plead the fifth for anything incriminating. And he didn't really drop any bombshells. So hopefully it'll be Eddie Garcia coming in going, bam. Okay, I'm safe. Okay, I got immunity. Bet. Here it is. Here's everything. And I'm here for it. For sure. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a interesting day. But tomorrow for sure, okay? Um tomorrow for sure. Yeah. Tomorrow for sure is going to be very interesting. So get ready for that. Um and I'm here for it. I really really hope tomorrow just for prosecution's sake, cuz I'm sorry guys. The defense the defense was able to come in and they blew up Mia's spot. I'm sorry. I just call it like I see it, guys. I just call it like I see it. She had no proof, which is unfortunate. She could very well be a victim. I'm not sitting here saying that she's not. But what I'm trying to say is that she had no proof of that. That doesn't help the situation at all. It's sad. It's unfortunate. Okay. Because, of course, you want to have nothing but the heat. So I can understand why some people are side eyeing Mia's testimony. Does it, like I said, we're going to have to see how it goes. We're going to have to, because it doesn't matter about us, court of public opinion. It all goes down on how the jury is taking her information, right? So we'll see what is going on here. But the fact, and here's the thing. Janera just said, because the defense says she don't have any proof. But here's the thing. The defense says that they asked her if she has any proof of any of these things, and she didn't. She said, I do not, right? I do not. I don't have proof. That doesn't help. She could be telling 110% the truth. It could be absolutely 100% real, what she experienced. But then at the same time, if she has no proof to back it up, you got to remember, you got a jury who's supposed to be unbiased, sitting there listening to everything and consuming everything right there at face value. If they go, hey, when you got your hand slammed in the door, when you were essayed, when you were blah, 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 did you ever send any text messages, any photos, any video, any audio recordings, anything to show the aftermath of Diddy's wrath? And she says, I did not. Now it just ends up being up to the jury to make a decision whether or not to believe her. That's crazy. And you know what's going to happen. A good portion of them are going to look at the situation and go, well, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. She has no proof. She has no hard evidence. You see what I'm saying? And then also at the same time, they're saying that, because I see somebody in the chat saying, she got fired for drinking too much. Maybe that was the case. Maybe it wasn't. But of course, all those questions being brought up, and they're going, were you fired because you were drinking too much? And she's like, no. It's been asked. So now that seed is being dropped in the jury's brains. And now they're going, is this a disgruntled employee? Angry and in her fee-fees about being fired. She was pursuing her dream. Yes, she saw attacks on Cassie, but maybe she's adding more to this so she can get more monies. But here's something for sure, though. Let's talk about this real quick. Something to think about. If she really was about the money, then she should have picked up the phone when Diddy was trying to text her a year back. Think about it. If she really was about the monies, she should have picked up the phone and said, I want to be compensated. You don't want me to testify? You don't want me to step forward and talk to the feds? I bet it's going to be about 8 figures. And then you'll never hear from me again. But she didn't do that either. She still testified. Unless she feels like the justification. She feels justified and feels vindicated by taking that stand and giving a scathing testimony. Maybe that's what it is too. But like I said, a lot of things to consume. And this is going to be a very tough time for the jury. Because again, we still have several weeks left for prosecution to present their case. Hopefully they rev the engine up here, because that one, there was a lot of gray. It was a whole lot of gray. And the defense did a good job at poking holes in Mia's testimony. They definitely did some things to discredit the witness. Now it's a question on if the jury's going to really consume that and go, oh yeah, he cooked. So we'll see. We'll see though. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. Really means a lot. Don't worry. I'll be back on tomorrow around noon again. Okay. And then the rest of the week will be in the morning. We'll be doing the full show, right? A full coverage of the thing. But tomorrow we'll be back in again around noon to knock this whole thing out again. Okay. And then we'll be locking in even harder starting Wednesday. All right. Just to give you all a heads up on what's going on and what I have planned. So please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. If you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you hit that follow button, please, and thank you. Okay? We back. We're still covering this stuff and more. So make sure you are also subscribed here on my main channel on YouTube. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. Make sure you have the notification bells set to all on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because a lot of times it's random, except for this trial, okay? So go and make sure those notification bells are set to all. Hit that join button down below, please, and thank you. Become a member. Check out that Patreon. Check out that Locals. And, of course, check out pascalmerch.com. All right? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. I may have a video later on this afternoon, so be on the lookout for it, okay? But I'll see you guys very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.